The champions, the best teams, da, 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 da. The champions are back. Champions League is back, actually. Former champions, of course, of the Champions League, Manchester City. Welcome Inter Milan to the Etihad Stadium tomorrow for a rerun of the 2023 treble-winning Champions League final. And I cannot wait for this game of football. I've got a feeling it's going to be a very, very special one. And a haircut, as you can tell, for the occasion and all that kind of stuff. Guys, please give the video a like. Subscribe if you are new to the channel. It does help support a lifelong Manchester City fan. It makes these videos for you guys for absolutely nothing. Just from the love of my heart. Just for the joy of it. So if you enjoy it, please give some back by just giving the video a like and subscribing and sharing the channel and getting involved in the comments. It does mean the world to me. If you want to help a little bit more, of course, there is the super chat option. You know, if you want to. The question for today, if you want to answer with a super chat, would be: how far will City go in the Champions League this season? I'm curious to know what you guys think. Let me know in the comments. I want to know as well, by the way, where you're watching. You watch along tomorrow. Come and join me if you want to on Tifo. Use the code Stephen in capital letters with a V. Stephen to join and sign up and join me tomorrow live on Tifo. There's a link in the description below as always. So yes, this game tomorrow is going to be an interesting one. It's Man City versus Inter Milan. It's a big game of football. It's a wonderful rerun of a horribly tense and an anxiety-inducing Champions League final. One, of course, where we sealed an incredible legacy, a treble at the end of 3 titles in a row as well, with, of course, Rodri scoring the winner, a goal that's probably catapulted him sort of into contention for the Ballon d'Or a year or so later. And also, he was involved in the press conference with Guardiola. So I've got some quotes from Guardiola and your man Rodrigo Cascante to talk about today. We'll, of course, try and predict the team news and all the usual stuff. We'll try and go through all the opposition preview. We'll go through all that. It's down there at the bottom, as you can see. We'll go through all that. First of all, though, let's go to the overview from Guardiola. Let's go through the press conference quotes. I'll go over here now, 1 second. Let me just change the scene. There we go. So let's go through this, because it's going to be interesting. There's plenty to talk about. I suspect, well, some of these quotes will sort of cause a few stirs. Guardiola talked about the format. He was very nonchalant, just see what happens, essentially. I'll go with games at home, Champions League. We have to try and take the points, otherwise anything can happen. He's right. And he watched the Champions League final for the first time yesterday. I don't blame him, by the way. Hands up here if you don't watch games back. I don't watch games back. I find it kind of sort of boring. Football, to me, is very much in the moment, so I don't really watch football back again. It's not like a film or anything like that. I enjoy it in the moment because I know what's going on, but I can't really watch anything of the highlights back, so I haven't watched it back because it's not a fun thing for me to do. Guardiola said it was nice, a tight game. The first half was much, much better than the second half. After the goal, we had 1 clear chance from Phil Foden. They had 2 clear chances. This coin was on our side, and it could have gone the other side. Absolutely could have. It could have. He said it was a good team, that Inter team, that moment. I'll get onto that in a bit. I'll talk about Inter later. He said City have to adjust something because the way they attack is difficult to control. He's right. He talked about De Bruyne. He said it's the same with Erling Haaland and all the comments after the games. There were a lot of games. Of course, they started really well. Come back good. Help us in the Premier League. The competitions that we have, but we will see. His mood is good and he's playing in a good level. About De Bruyne. He talked about Phil Foden as well. He was asked about Phil Foden. He said we have Ilkay Gundogan back and other players, but Phil's position better is in the middle. But when everyone is fit, the competition is tough. I want to rotate, but they have to prove when I rotate that they are ready to play. So it looks like Phil Foden is actually set for a relative sort of rotation period, which is always going to be the way. When you have one of the best squads in world football, especially centrally, you're going to need all your players and you're going to have to rotate them to keep them all happy. Well, Phil will be fine. He's too good not to get back in the team, and it will happen in time. I really like these quotes about Erling Haaland. He said, was he surprised about the goals? He said, a little bit, yeah. Do you know why? I played 11 years as a professional, as a football player. I scored 11 goals. This guy, in 4 games, has scored 9. Pep scored 11 goals ever. 11 goals ever. This guy's got 9 goals in 4 games. It's silly. Guardiola said he can evolve, but he would tell me that in the next 100 games he will score another 99 goals. For me, it's fine. If you don't want to improve, don't improve. Score 99 goals in the next 100 games. He's not wrong. Guardiola essentially saying, look, if he just carries on for the rest of his career scoring 99 goals in 100 games, he doesn't have to change. He's already cracked football, and he's absolutely right. And of course, he'll get better and better, but he's right. I mean, ultimately, we ask too much of Erling Haaland. The fact that he scores a goal a game, he's about to get 100 goals from Man City already. We're just over 2 seasons in. Just over. It's literally the start of his third season. We're nearly at 100 goals. It's absurd what he's achieving. And we've normalised it. It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. Guardiola was asked about the difference for Haaland. He said the difference this season is that after niggles and tiredness in his body, this season he feels better. So far, he feels clean and good here in his head. But game, I don't know what will happen in 2 or 3 months' time. Yeah, absolutely. You know, he's not wrong. It's very, very difficult to keep up that consistency. And Rodri talked a lot about this. Rodri is very happy about the Ballon d'Or nominations. I know City are very excited, by the way, about the idea of a Ballon d'Or at Manchester City. I mean, of course they would be. It's massive for the club, something we've never had before. So City are excited by that. I know that's an internal view, like they want it to happen. And they're very excited by the possibility of it, because why wouldn't you be? It's a big step for the club. Rodri spoke about it. He said, to be honest, I'm very, very happy for everything that happened to me in the last years. Winning what City won and winning the Euros in my country is just a dream. It's a consequence of the hard work, consistency, and never giving up. I feel right now that people are recognising my work and trying to push me to win the Ballon d'Or. It's not something I think about, to be honest. It would be a dream, of course, because I never thought I could arrive at this stage in this moment. I know I play a different role to most players that are nominated for the Ballon d'Or, but it also shows that football can be beautiful in different views. It can be beautiful as a midfielder or scoring goals or being a defender. Yeah, he's absolutely right. Look, Rodri deserves to be there. He absolutely does. He's a remarkable footballer, consistent, a game changer. Look, City are just much better, a vastly better side with him on the pitch. I mean, even without him on the pitch, we're possibly still one of the best, if not the best in the world. So that's the levels that Rodri brings. He makes us even better. He's a phenomenal footballer. And I love the man. I absolutely love him. Yeah, a brilliant player. So it's one of those things where, you know, look, Rodri being back, our chances of winning, they absolutely, you know, it rockets. You talked about the schedule, which is really interesting, by the way. I really liked Rodri talking about the schedule, because I think he's been very honest that the schedule is just too much. It really is. By the way, if you are watching, please let me know your thoughts on the game in the chat, because there's not a single comment yet live, which is, it must be YouTube being funny or something like that, because people are always chatting away. He talked about the schedule. He said, from my experience, I can tell you that 60 or 70 games is no. I think between 40 and 50 is the amount of play you can perform at the highest level. After that, you drop, because it's impossible to sustain the physical level. In my humble opinion, I think it's too much. I think we have to take care of ourselves. Someone has to take care of ourselves, because we are the main characters of this sport, or whatever you want to call it. Thank you so much, Nicholas. You're the GOAT, Nicholas. So not everything is money and marketing. It's also the quality of the show, in my opinion. When I'm resting and when I'm not tired, I perform better. People want to see better football. We need to rest. And he's right there. Essentially, the quality of the product does start to dip, you know. So when the amount of games gets bigger, the performance in the games gets lower. And he's not wrong, is he? You know, like, you have to give the players rest, because otherwise, you're not going to see the very best of them. It's such a shame that you see players sort of, like you've seen De Bruyne towards the end of the season, where he's sort of playing on empty and he's nowhere near as expressive, and it's such a shame, because you can see that players at the end of the Champions League are just a little bit tired. The games aren't as expressive. They're a lot more difficult, you know. Teams defend a bit more because they have to, because they're knackered. It's just difficult. It's really difficult, you know. And I actually agree with him. And he talked about, like, the idea of a strike, which is crazy. Let me find the quotes. He said, I think we're close to that. He was asked about a strike. So I think we're close to a strike. It's a general opinion of the players. If this keeps this way, we'll have no other option, I really think. It's something that worries us. We are the guys who suffer. Yeah, look, I suspect at some point the players will strike. I honestly think it's inevitable. They're going to keep pushing and pushing and pushing, and I think maybe like the Club World Cup next year, and then the inevitably playing straight after it. I think it's going to be the straw that broke the camel's back. I think it is going to be. There's only so much football you can play before you break, you know, and it's a shame. It'd be a shame if it comes to that. He talked about the mental strength, blah, 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 blah. He talked about watching the game back for the first time. He talked about his contract as well. He said, got nothing much to say. I have 3 more years at Man City. When I sign a contract, I don't think of other teams. I just think of finishing. So I have 3 more years at Man City and nothing more to say. There was rumours going around about Real Madrid wanting him, wasn't they? I don't think that's going to happen, thankfully. I think we're all right there. I feel like they can't afford him, apparently, and they think it might be difficult to match the money that they can offer him. So I don't think he'll be okay. I think he'll be fine. And if he does go in 3 years, if his contract runs out, I'm not bothered about that, man. He'll be... Look, there's 3 years from now. I'll worry about that later, you know. Football moves on by then. Rodri will be like early 30s by that point, won't he? He'll be like 31 or something, 32. So I'm not bothered. You know, if he moves on a free transfer in 4 years' time, 3-4 years' time, not great, but I will live. I'd worry about that then. Who knows? He might be in League One by then anyway. Who knows? He actually very smartly referenced Haaland as an example of what fitness does. Said maybe Erling's a good example. He had a long break, and you see how he's performing right now. It gives you a clue as to why we asked for this. Yeah, he's right. You know, he talks about Inter as well, blah, 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 etc. In terms of the actual team news, I think it's okay, you know. I think we're doing all right in terms of the team news. I think, obviously, you just see over here, the missing players for Man City are still Ake, Oscar Bob, Savinho. I think Savinho's okay, for what I can tell. I think it was just... let me see if there's any updates on Savinho that I can find. I'm pretty certain Savinho's okay in training. Yeah, I haven't seen anything to suggest he won't be. Yeah, he's training. I think he's training. I saw some rumors going around on Twitter that Savinho's still training. So he's all right. So it's just really Oscar Bob and Nathan Ake around. So there's no real update in terms of the team news. It does lead me sort of nicely onto the predicted 11. This bit is going to be hard. I don't know how to do this bit. I don't know. So I think that a good place to start would probably be for me to get back would probably be for me to look at the game from the other day. I'll go back to the game the other day. Results. So this is the Brentford lineup. So that's how we blind up the other day. Ederson, Walker, Stones, Akanji, Rico Lewis, Kovacic, Gundogan, Savinho, De Bruyne, Jack Grealish, and Erling Haaland. There's going to be changes. Almost certainly going to be changes. I'd be amazed if Phil Foden comes straight back into the team without playing a minute. By the way, thank you so much for the comments, by the way, MH96. Look, yeah, thank you for the haircut comments. Look, I've not even got any, wax or anything in it, so it looks a little bit flat right now, but yeah, it's a decent haircut, you know. Ginan's there. Nice. I hope you enjoy it tomorrow, my friend. Rose Marie says, yeah, he's wonderful. You're absolutely right, Haaland. And right, Philip, Inter are playing very good football. But this team, look, we've got Arsenal at the weekend. I'm expecting, look, we're going to see some players play tomorrow. We're going to play both games. And it's one of those things where I think we've got to be realistic about the options that we've got. We're going to have to play some players, who you want to rest because we've got no choice. It'll be Ederson in goal. Ederson will play there. I think Guardiola will come back into the team. I think he'll play both games, by the way. You've got his Sunday when we play, so it's not too bad. I suspect Diaz will come back in. I expect Akanji will. I wonder if it's going to be Rico or Inter. Walker. Here's my call. Kyle Walker and Rico Lewis against Arsenal. You don't have to like it, but I think that's what's going to happen. This guy is an absolute lock to start because he needs it. He's a lock to start. I think if Foden's fit, I think Gundogan starts. I think Bernardo starts. And I think Foden starts. I think Foden gets a start with KDB actually sitting this one out potentially. I think Foden needs a bit of football at some point. I would think we'd see Jack Grealish over here. And I think, no, maybe Doku. Maybe Doku at home. And then on this side, Savinho. We could see this, by the way. Do not be surprised to see this. You might not like it. Something like this. Where you've got Bernardo out wide and Foden there. Do not be surprised to see something like that. I don't like Silva, but I feel like he's going to get a start. But I do love Silva. I don't like Silva on the right, but I feel like he's going to get a start. Because I think Guardiola will sort of try and roll it back a little bit, to the Champions League final side. I think it'll be something like this. I've not dropped Rico, Money FEO. When you see why have I dropped Rico, I think Guardiola's going to drop Rico. That's a difference, mate. No, I think Rico will play against Arsenal. I think he will do. I think he'll play Walker in this game, and I think he'll play Rico against Arsenal. You don't have to agree with me, but I've got a feeling Guardiola's going to do that. People always think this is what I think we'll do. This is what I think Guardiola would do, not what I would do. What I would play and what Guardiola would be very different. But I've got a feeling Rico will play against Arsenal, and I think Kyle will continue his fitness, streak. I think it'll be something like that. I really think it will be. If we look at Inter Milan, let's go to them. So Inter Milan, obviously, look, I'll find. One second, let me go back over here. I'll find the Inter Milan lineup. Man City versus Inter. the final. So this was the lineup for City that day. So I mean, we can literally more or less repeat that. We basically can, yeah. Other than maybe Ake. Yeah, we can repeat that almost if we wanted to, one by one. But this is how they lined up that day. Dzeko, of course, is left for them. They've got a lot of those players still. I'll go to they're missing a few players, but none of those lot. This is how they lined up at the weekend against Monza, was it? They played, yeah. My bank account, Monza. This is how they lined up that day, so the other day. So I think Dzeko's moved on now. Has Brozovic gone? I think he has, hasn't he? I think he has gone, Brozovic. Yeah. I'm pretty certain he has. So that's how they lined up there. I mean, it's a very different lineup, actually. It's a total different midfield three. A couple of years ago now, isn't it? So Barella's on the bench still, actually, over there. I don't know why he's on the bench. He's brilliant, Barella. But this is how they lined up recently. You know, they're still playing sort of three at the back. They got Benjamin Pavard, obviously a quality footballer. They got De Vrij, Augusto, Di Marco, Mkhitaryan, Asllani, Fratesi, Darmian. Darmian's doing really well over there, isn't he? I think is he out? Or is it Di Marco's out? I think one of them's out. Thuram, Martinez. Before that, they're still playing a very similar way. They battered Atlanta 4-0 actually for that. Barella started that game, and Kalahagnu's still there, so I think those two will probably be players available. I think it's probably going to be more like this team. Bastoni, Pavard, Acerbi, Sommer. Yeah, it'll be more like that, I reckon. Lautaro Martinez is... DeMarco's injured. That's a big loss for them, actually. Yeah, because he's a flying wing-back, isn't he? That's bad news for them, actually, yeah. Look, their quality, like what you get from Inter. Look, we'll go to Guardiola's quotes from it about Inter. You know, because he's been very like honest about... So, we'll go to the quotes from Guardiola about Inter. Let me find them. Here we go. So, yeah, he said Inter, it was a good team in that moment. It was a really good team now, a good manager. Simone Inzaghi knows how to make good moments. In Italy, they've been the best. They won the league last year. He said, Inter had many Champions League titles, but we just had one. We have to adjust something because for the way they Inter attack, it's difficult to control. He's right. They're a very difficult side, and they've got a Champions League heritage that we haven't got yet, you know? We have to take them very, very serious. Yeah, DiMarco and Arnautovic are not available. Look, Arnautovic is not a loss, but DiMarco absolutely is. I'll go to Rodri's quotes as well about him. Rodri talked a little bit about Inter. He said, let me find it. Where's he gone? He said, I don't need to watch Inter to know how they play. I know exactly the players and how they perform. I think they have many key players. They defend very well. They transition very good. Very solid team. Big stars like Toro. Important players in midfield. It's going to be like knocking on a wall because we know how Italian teams defend. So I know them very well and how they perform. The quality, the way they defend and attack, they're very good players. They are the guys that control the game for them. And the way they pass the defending attack at very high speed, we have to watch out. Absolutely. They're a quality team. Like, look, they're going to be a typical Italian side. They're going to be very, very, very hard working. They're going to be very bitty, aggressive, defensively tough with the wing backs and the way that everyone sits back and works really hard. They're just a good side, man. And I've got a feeling it's going to be a very, very difficult game. I'm genuinely a bit nervous about this one. Because I feel like it could be one where we drop points potentially. In terms of my actual prediction, look, I would say City... I'm really torn on this, you know. I'm genuinely torn. I'm a very optimistic person, but do not be surprised tomorrow if City drop points and it's like 1-1 or something like that. That would not be the end of the world. They are a brilliant side, but it's one of those things where so are we. It's I don't know. I'm going to go for probably a 1-1. You might not agree with that, but I feel like this could be a little bit early. I think they've got revenge in their eyes. Look, if I was going to say a win, I think it'd be like 2-0. I think it'd be reasonably comfortable if it's a win, but I still can't shake the feel like it could be a little bit frustrating. I think it could be frustrating. My heart says 2-0. My head says 1-1. You don't have to agree with me. Let me know if I'm waffling in the comments below. But I've got a feeling it could be a very frustrating game tomorrow because they're so up for this. They're going to be so up for it, and I think they could frustrate the life out of City. But having said that, if it's 2-0, Haaland bags both. If it's 1-1, Foden gets it or something like that. I don't know. We'll see. I'm relaxed about it, though. I'm not worried about dropping points this early on if we do, because I think Inter are a great side, and after that, it should get a lot easier. Guys, thanks for watching. Let me know in the comments what you make of this game. Potentially, like the video if you don't mind, and watch me tomorrow on Tifo if you want to for my watch along. Link in the description below. In a bit. Bye-bye.